And I'm Miss Mary Quad's mother.
So we're here today to give our testimony about my mom's beautiful new smile. And this smile was provided by Smiles by Dr. Heavenly. So my mom had a crown that was a bit dated, actually more than 30 years old. What Heavenly decided to do was to update my mother's smile with a brand new crown. Heavenly makes everything extremely easy and comfortable.
The experience was wonderful. Everyone on the staff was very nice and kind. She was real nice. And she explained everything as she was going along. It didn't take a long time.
I really entrust myself and my dental work and my smile with Dr. Heavenly because she has over 25 years of experience, and that's a lot to be said. It's just a more updated look. It's what's happening now. It's more of a now look.
Miss Mary, how you liking your new smile?
I love it. I'm very proud of it. Thank you, Dr. Heavenly. I love my smile.
Thank you, Heavenly. I appreciate you giving my mom this beautiful smile. And honey, she looks better than ever. She's pretty. Baby, the teeth are fine.
What's up, y'all? How y'all feeling today? Listen, I be working, baby, but I be working for y'all. Listen, I want to make sure y'all have a good time. I want to make sure I keep y'all entertained. Y'all like my glasses because I can take them off, but I can't see really without them, so I need to have them on. I've been a long time coming with my glasses. Listen, so today, I'm just going live on a whim. I know I got to be consistent because today is Thursday, right? Today, Thursday, and I just like to go live and bring y'all some special guests whenever I can and make sure that y'all stay entertained. Now, the main thing with Smiles, with Heaven Help Us and Mr. Millions is that we want to learn something, right? Y'all want to learn something, right? So we're going to talk mostly about business, money, and relationships. Now, we're going to get to the topics y'all all like, and stuff like that and all the information y'all want to know, but we're going to relate it back to business, money, and relationships. Listen, let me look at y'all comments over here. Listen. So first and foremost, I want to let y'all know that on my Patreon, we do have a contest going on for a free dental makeover. Y'all know this at the end of this month. But if y'all are members of my Patreon family, make sure you go to Patreon to find out the rules for a free dental makeover. A lot of people have been asking me about a dental makeover. I try to do at least one, maybe a year, and I try to do that. But, we be real busy about, I got about 4 or 5 jobs. Listen, so in the chat, if you light up the chat, I'm going to ask the questions that y'all want to hear about, right? So tonight, I like to wait till the person here before I announce them, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people, a little different. Then we just spoke to him. He said he's coming in. So we're going to get it together. And if y'all don't know already, shit, I could put it out there now. We having a Med Gala. Married to Medicine, we're having a filmed event. The Met Gala, any one of y'all that want to come, make sure y'all get at me. Y'all know how to DM me. Y'all know how to get at me. Anybody in Atlanta or is going to be in Atlanta, I'll give you all the information to get at the Met Gala. Make sure you get a ticket. It is a black tie event, so don't come in there with your jeans and tennis shoes. If y'all want to come and see the ladies of Married to Medicine, we have a extra special cause. We're actually and I think this is one of the great things about Married to Medicine is every year we try to find a foundation and give back to it. It's been 50 Shades of Pink, where we give breast cancer awareness, and that's a big thing with Dr. Jackie, and she actually gives back and she educates people on breast cancer. But this year in particular, we're actually giving back to a foundation called For Cure for Moms. for Kira for Moms. That's the number 4, and it's KIRA for Moms. And it's very interesting that, you know, I watch Netflix, and I don't know if y'all watch The Resident and things like that, but it's an extra special story, and he's going to tell his story, but I'm going to give y'all the 45 version. Basically, Charles is the son of Judge Glenda Hatchett, and he actually was married, and he had an incident, and I don't want to misspeak, but, you know, I'm paraphrasing, that his wife, and y'all know him, you know, she was in the hospital. And a lot of times, you know, that we as Black females are not always taken seriously in the OR or in, you know, when we're delivering babies. And she had some difficulties and some things that should have been prevented. And, you know, it's a great cause. We always talk about it all the time, that we should not die in childbirth, not in 2024. So, of course, his wife died in childbirth, or after childbirth. She was having some issues, and, you know, the people didn't look in on her and stuff like that. And she ended up dying. And, you know, he started this foundation to give back, so we could talk about, bring awareness, and you know, educate people on, you know, maternal mortality, so we can, you know, give back. So, you know, Black women should not die in childbirth. We just should not. So for Kira for Moms, we're actually giving back. So if y'all want to come to the Met Gala, make sure y'all get at me. Y'all know how to get at me. And like I say, I got a free dental makeup for going on. Hey, my boy's here. Listen. So listen, let me introduce him before I bring him up, because I love him. Y'all know, listen, y'all know him about business, right? And y'all know him about money and about relationships too. But this guy here, he was a part of starting the magazine, The Source. Y'all know The Source. I don't know how old y'all is, but y'all remember Juicy with a Biggie Small smiles about every time my face is up in The Source. This guy is a rapper. He's an influencer. He's an actor. I'm going to say actor because he was on Love and Hip Hop. I'm going to say some of this acting, I think. Entrepreneur. And he's my guy. I'm going to bring him up front. What's going on, Benzino? How you doing?
How you doing, Dr. Heavenly? How's everything?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited about this interview because I like the business of things, right? And I don't think everybody knows what part you played in that magazine, The Source. I'm going to jump right in. You tell us who you are. First and foremost, your name, what people should know you for. I already said you're a businessman.
Yeah. Well, I'm Benzino, and of course, well, you know, I started out rapping. I'm from Boston, Mass. I started with a rap group called the Almighty RSO and Made Men, and I had a solo rap career under Benzino. But a lot of people back then knew me for a co-owner of the Source magazine. And the Source magazine, I guess at the time, was the internet, what it is now. It was really the source to find all hip hop everywhere. You know, whereas that back in the day there wasn't no internet, and if you wasn't from New York, or if you wasn't from LA, which at that time were the two biggest cities for hip hop, Atlanta hadn't really took off yet. It was imperative that you had the Source magazine to really know what's going on in the world of hip hop.
Now, that's one thing I do remember, The Source. Now, I always ask people, are people as passionate about protecting the culture of hip hop? Because back in the day, that used to be a big thing, protect the culture. We were passionate about it. Are people as passionate now as been back in the days?
Well, you know, now's a little different. Hip hop was such a big movement when it came out, and it was a movement, and then it really morphed into our culture, into Black people's culture. It was more than music. And like I said, at the time, you know, me and my partner Dave Mays were covering hip hop, whereas there wasn't a lot of outlets covering hip hop. And it just grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, of course, I think the passion is still there, especially from a lot of us Gen Xers. You know, I just think that with the internet, I believe social media now is kind of leading hip hop. Whereas that hip hop was in the lead of everything, I think social media is leading hip hop. And, you know, I believe the passion is there for certain people of the generation of my generation, of course, and of the generations below us. I think the new generation, I don't know if it's that much passion into hip hop as much as it is passion into social media.
Absolutely. I don't think that people understand how big The Source was. Can you talk about that? Just talk about how big it was. Because I remember, you know, like we said, we used to hear it in the rap songs and everything like that. I don't think people knew how big it was.
Well, I mean, like I said, you know, it was so big that a lot of magazines came along and copied us. I mean, you know, and like I said, it was a phenomenon because at the time, rock music was being covered and pop music was being covered by Rolling Stone, and Rolling Stone was a mega magazine. Of course, if people don't understand the publishing game really is about advertising, and we was getting a lot of advertisement. Dave Mays really kind of pioneered that whole lane for advertising in hip hop. I give him a lot of credit for that. We ended up bringing in the Source Awards because at that time we felt that the Grammys just wasn't giving hip hop its just due and really representing the really like the core of hip hop, which really hip hop is from the struggle, from the streets, and we felt like a lot of people were, especially in the power, in those offices and on Fifth Avenue and over there on Sunset. I think a lot of the people were kind of scared of hip hop and scared of the people in hip hop. I think once hip hop started making money, then I believe here comes all the advertisement, and it was nothing bigger than the Source. I mean, the Source Awards, you can ask artists of that time, the biggest thing that they could ever want was the Source Awards, and and I was blessed to be a part of that. Me and Dave was with the magazine for 18 years, and
What was your position on in the Source?
I actually was co-owner, but my day-to-day was really brand officer. And you got to understand, Dr. Heavenly, I came from the streets, so I was a hustler. And I don't have to get into what I was hustling. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science. And, I came from the projects of Prairie and Dorchester. Rest in peace to my mom, Mary, and shout out to my father, Schnapps. We was just like pretty much any other black family trying to, get by. My mother would work a job. My father was a street guy. And, I fell in love with hip hop. My grandfather was from the Bronx, and they used to sit there every summer. And my uncle, my grandfather's son, was showing me how to spin on turntables, I think, when I was 11 years old, like in 1977 or something. So I've been around hip hop for a long time, and watching the growth of the Source in those years as hip hop grew. See, we grew as hip hop grew, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
So what happened to the Source? It just became obsolete when they got the Facebook and the Twitter and Instagram?
No. Actually, the Source is still going on. They have new owners now. Me and Dave stepped aside from the Source. I think it was in 2006. It started in 1988.
It ain't as popular because
Well, nowadays with the internet, the magazine game is almost over. There's really not. Yeah, there's people. The Source back then had amazing journalists, amazing photographers. Rest in peace to the great Chimo Du. Shout out to Johnny Nunez. But I mean, I could go on and a lot of these guys from the Source that used to work there went on to do amazing things, like Carlito, producer of Empire. Kim Osorio produces every reality show, Loving Hip Hop, Grown Up Hip Hop. Mike, oh man, I forgot his last name. Mike directed Love and Basketball. So we have a whole alumni of people that came through the Source who are now doing amazing things.
Doing different things
in the entertainment world.
Now, I got to ask you this question because I'm about business and money and relationships. Yes. What advice would you give to artists right now? Because the game has changed completely, right?
It's it's hard to tell this new generation anything.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you can give them advice, but if anything, just to stay focused, and to all the young people out there, stay out of trouble. And don't look at hip hop as the end all be all. A lot of guys I come across, I go across the country, and a lot of guys, man, this hip hop is all I got. And man, this is my life, and this is mine. I'm just like, no, it's not. There's 24 hours in the day. And, even if you dedicate, say, 5 hours to writing and hip hop and owning your craft 4 or 5 hours a day, there's still a bunch more hours in the day for you to do something else.
Absolutely.
I would always advise hip hop as a something else. And of course, the more love you put in anything, you're going to get out of it. You're going to get it back. A lot of these kids, and this is to me the problem with the internet leading hip hop, because hip hop was always in the lead. But with the internet leading, with social media leading, it doesn't take a too much skilled writer,
Right.
or it just doesn't take a lot now. You could just be a personality, and a more than decent producer could bring you in the studio, and you come out there with an amazing song. But the whole thing is, as I grew up, you really wanted to own your craft. You really want to perfect what you're doing, writing, reading. Hip hop is about writing, is about
Right.
putting words together. Even if you don't write it on paper, you still put it together in your head. I know a lot of guys who go in the booth and never write, but it's just really about the English language, English, writing, dictation, thought, the more things you see, travel. So I'm just afraid that this generation of artists don't take it serious enough. A lot of artists who just, how long you been rapping? They'll say, man, 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And
But what you
and
not
I
tell them to
understand you have to
become
start somewhere,
independent?
but
When you tell them become independent, get their own publishing, right? All of that.
that of course that, and that's the good thing about the internet, is to be independent. But if you don't have, a lot of people use the word independent, but if you don't have a budget or the means to get in the studio or the means to put money behind yourself, it really is difficult to be independent. You
Mm-hmm.
can't, studio costs, music beats that they rap over costs. When you're traveling to try to promote your music costs. So you really gotta have some type of budget behind yourself. Me back in the day, I would go hustle, and then all my money would go towards me trying to put music out and trying to be independent. But being independent sometimes isn't the end all be all. And you have to get somebody that'll support you, that'll believe in you. But that only comes after you put in the work. A lot of people think as soon as you put something down, money's just gonna come flying out the sky. And it couldn't be far from the truth, more far from the truth.
I know that's right. And it's a big business, but yeah, you got to have backing. You have to have sponsors and things like that. You got to be charismatic and things like that. I'm going to switch gears because the people want to know these type of questions. Listen, so I've been following you for quite a while, and I'm really excited about the interview here. But I actually had some of the same sentiments that you had about the Diddy case, right?
Right.
Have you changed your feelings about the Diddy case after we saw the video?
And I'm glad you brought that up. All the videos. This is the first time I've actually spoken to somebody since the video. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that you see me comment on was before the video came out. But I will say this, Dr. Heavenly, I'm just a man who, like I said, came up from the streets of Boston. And Boston's a real, growing up in racist Boston in the 70s and the 80s, and I'm always for champion of the black man. Okay,
Absolutely.
so it's not like when I made these comments about the Diddy thing, it just Diddy's a black man. I made comments about R. Kelly. R. Kelly's a black man. A lot of my guys, including family members, my father, my uncles, my friends, family, everybody, they've all been a part of the system. It's an unfair system. It's a system that I believe is built against us. I believe that, when I made those comments about Diddy, I pretty much just said, well, he hasn't been charged criminally with anything yet. And I just don't feel like us as a culture, when did we start just giving up our people? We have to, we have to figure out what happened to the unity of black people, of black culture, of black community, and how we protect each other. Now, I seen the tape, horrible, horrible. I've never in my life have been involved with anything like that with the woman. I did feel bad for Cassie, like everybody who's seen the tape should. When it comes to men and women, men are bigger, stronger in most cases, and there's no room for that in our society. And it's not, and he's such a polarized figure, and he's such a figure of influence that it just doesn't send the right message to the younger people out there. So I was disappointed when I seen the tape. I was upset. But again, I've been a part of I've been to jail before, I've been to court before a lot, and I just want, we live in a land of laws, and I just want to let, if there's gonna be charges, and then Diddy's gonna have to deal with the charges, you know, because
Right.
everybody around me, if we live in a land of laws, if you break the law, we all understand it. We're adults, and you go do your time.
But don't
You
you
know,
believe,
so
like, as everybody, and I'm not making light of anything, please be clear, but everybody does things that they're probably not proud of. Do you believe in second chances, though?
come on. Let me tell you something. It's not. It really isn't about what me and you. It's what the Lord says. The Lord says you repent. The Lord says that He's forgiven us for our sins. You know, I believe people do get second chances only if they're willing to put in the work to right their wrongs. And when you look at stuff like domestic violence, and you look at stuff like what R. Kelly went through, and I don't want to switch gears, but R. Kelly grew up in the Robert Taylor homes. The Robert Taylor homes in Chicago at the time when they was built, and those times when R. Kelly were probably the worst projects, one of the worst in the world, not just United States. You know, we're talking the world. Robert Taylor homes is pretty bad, and you know the way R. Kelly grew up with no education. I'm sure he's seen a lot of stuff growing up in those elevators and in those hallways, okay, and in those projects, and him admitting to being molested by family members himself. You know, we have to think about the mental health of each other, of our Black community, and how to help each other. Because it's one thing to just throw somebody away, but I know for a fact that you know, none of us live, sin free. It's very hard out here, and we shouldn't judge. I know the internet is a place of judgment.
Absolutely.
You know, because before the internet, before social media, we didn't have all this. You know, you couldn't see people's opinions and people's judgment, and that's, and to me that's unfortunate. I just want to say that I believe everybody deserves a second chance, as long as that you are willing to put in the work to right your wrongs from what you was wrong in the first place.
And I think that's a great answer. It's up to God. You know, at the end of the day, God says forgive. God says all these things. And that's the best answer. We don't get an opinion when it comes to the Bible. If you believe,
Exactly.
we don't get an opinion. So he says forgive. And, he is the God of second chances. So we have to go that route. But I had a question with Stevie's name all over the media, and his name keeps circulating. Have you talked to Stevie after all of this?
Me and Sleeves conversated kind of early when all this was going on. You know what I'm saying? I know he's going through some things. Listen, Stevie and Puff go way back. Puff gave Stevie a real chance out here when nobody would. A lot of guys, what people don't understand about hip hop is hip hop allows the guys in the street, or the guys who nobody necessarily wants to go near because they're a little nervous of, get a chance. And Stevie and Puff go way back. Puff kind of gave Stevie his shot, as he did a lot of people. Puff employed a lot of people, gave a lot of people their shots out here, where a lot of these people who, and listen, everybody has their own things to say about Puff with their own personal experiences. So I would never try to say something, but I do know that, opportunities out here come far and few. And I know, Puff gave a lot of people opportunities. Stevie was one of the ones, and Stevie stuck by his friend. And who am I, to talk about somebody who sticks by for, loyalty is real hard out here these days, Dr.
Yes, it really is.
So, I don't question Stevie. I haven't talked to him lately. I'm sure, when all this, when he feels comfortable, I'm sure he'll hit me up. But that's my brother, regardless.
Absolutely. That's serious. But I remember somebody saying that P. Diddy didn't want you around Stevie. Why would that be? I'm just asking. I don't know.
I mean, at the beginning, when the first time I met Stevie was at Daddy's house in his studio in Manhattan, and at that time maybe I was just a wild guy. I used to have
Daddy's or Diddy's?
Daddy's house. It was called Daddy's house.
Oh, okay.
Sure was. Yeah.
Daddy, so
Diddy's studio was called Daddy's house, and I met Stevie up there. He was engineering. Stevie is super talented, plays all the instruments and everything. And I've also worked with Mario Winans up there. They were called the Hitmen. Mario gave me my biggest song to date, Rock the Party. So, I just think back then maybe I was just a little bit too wild. and maybe just Diddy was just giving Stevie some advice, like be careful around him, because I was a little more wild back in them days, a little more kind of how could I say, a little more, wild would be the perfect thing. And yeah, I guess I had heard that he told Stevie that, yeah, what I'm saying, he really didn't want him around me too much, but that didn't work out because me and Stevie ended up staying with each other a bunch of times. Him came to mind. People don't realize before Love and Hip Hop, me and Stevie been had a relationship, So at the
Yeah.
time, we was both wild cards at the time, way before Love and Hip Hop. We calmed down a lot since then.
Wow. That leads me into my next question. My next question is reality TV versus hip hop. Pros and cons. Because I know reality TV. I know reality TV. Pros and cons. What do you think is the difference and versus what's better and what's worse?
Well, hip hop's my life, and I take hip hop very, very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Hip hop is the revolution, and revolution. This is serious stuff. I've managed to do a lot of great. I've managed to accomplish so many great things when I was at the Source, and even within my life in hip hop. Hip hop saved my life. I've met so many people from across the world. I have so many friends that I've met to this day that I still have, that have gotten older as I did. And hip hop is something is my life. Hip hop is the is the is the IV. Reality TV was something that I really never seen myself getting into, and I was always a private type of guy when I was dating women. I've dated before Love and Hip Hop. I've dated a lot of celebrities. I mean, well known that people would never know. And Stevie was on it, and I didn't even cast for Love and Hip Hop, so I just kind of like fell into Love and Hip Hop. And once I got into it, I kind of see. I'm a person. I'm a thinking man, and once I got into Love and Hip Hop, I knew how to make it work for me. See, a lot of people, I think, with reality TV go on there and they kind of get ambushed and not knowing what they're getting themselves into, and then that's when ego takes over. That's when anger and you're acting like it's somebody else only because there's a camera there. See, with me, I said to myself once Mona started giving me more of a role, because when I first went on there, it was just like a couple of parts with Stevie. But then when me and Cardi started dating, it was like I was going to take more of a main role, and I had to be ready for that. So the first thing I thought was, well, look, I'm not going to do any cheating. I'm going to be with Carly, because I knew Love and Hip Hop was something. I see what Stevie's going through with Mimi and Jocelyn. I see what Scrappy's going through with Erica, Shay, Bambi. Scrappy was all over the. So I said I'm not going to go through that. Number one, even in real life, I wasn't the type of person to have girls fighting over me or in drama. I pretty much was always either a real sneaky type of guy where nobody would find out, or I just wouldn't make it obvious if I was messing with 2-3 girls at the same time. And I'm not bragging about that, because as I've gotten older, I've seen that really was, there was no need for that. When I was on Love and Hip Hop, I made sure I was just dating one girl at a time. Whoever it was just going to be her, and I would never ever be talking to somebody else, because I know it would be used against me, and I never wanted to be going through that. I just never went through drama with women in my life. A couple of times maybe, but I just really wasn't with it, and I surely didn't want to go through it on TV. Now, saying all that, I didn't know, saying all that, it's hard, as you know, to navigate without drama on reality shows.
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
So my next question, yeah, you did. You were a part of drama, because I seen your former friends and former castmates interview on some iconic moments. One of them was a part where Bambi in the hot tub, baby. Can you tell us what that experience was? What happened? Start from the beginning, because I want the nitty gritty. What happened?
All right, so okay, well, when I met Bambi, okay, first of all, when I got on the show with Stevie and me and Carly was there, me and Carly hadn't been necessarily like boyfriend and girlfriend. So I there was a period of time where I really was kind of single. And Bambi, Kurt had told me, Bambi, meet this girl, Bambi. I said, all right, cool. And I met Bambi. I remember Bambi was kind of tall, and I really wasn't used to dating girls that tall before. I'm not super tall. I'm about 5'8", 5'9". Sometimes I'm with the right Adidas on, but I just remember Bambi being tall. You know what I'm saying? Bambi looked good, but she started hollering at me, and she would come over the crib, and we would be dating and stuff. She'd always bring her friends and her family members with her, so she'd always be like 3, 4, 5 deep. I remember Kurt at the time. They had me doing scenes with him, and he was saying how he was getting kind of like a little bit bored with his married life. And I'm like, at that time, Dr. Heavenly, I didn't know if Kurt was serious or not. See, when I first started doing hip hop, I'm wondering, like, is he serious with this? And I never asked him. You know what I'm saying? When we're doing scenes and he says that he was, I said, okay, well, damn, this is crazy. So I made a gesture to say we need to do a man's night and go up to the mountains. Now, I didn't know that we was actually going to do that. I think when I said that, I was the first one to mention Blue Ridge. After that, all the reality shows went up Blue Ridge. Like nobody had went up Blue Ridge up until then. You know what I'm saying? So I remember they said, yeah, okay, we're going to go up there. So they let me and Kurt drive our motorcycles up there. I told Bobby Valentino to meet us up there. Kick was this. Bambi had a girlfriend named Mary Jane. They had spent the night over my house before we went up to the cabin. And the idea was that Mary Jane wanted to get on. She wanted to get on Love and Hip Hop. So the whole time I'm thinking Bambi really was into me. I didn't know that it ultimately was just trying to use me to make Scrappy jealous. Like at the time, I knew nothing about that. I'm thinking that she liked me, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is cool. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we get into first, second base. She come over the crib. No sex though. We never had sex to this day. I can admit that. And we went to the cabin. Bobby showed up with a girl, but the plan was, and Bambi was down with the plan. And this ain't throwing shade at nobody. I'm just telling you what it is. The plan was for Mary Jane to test Kurt. When we got in the jacuzzi, we was gonna get drunk and to see how far Kurt would go, right? In my mind, I'm like, he's not gonna go far because it's TV. Like Rashida would find out. Like there's no way. But you know what I'm saying? I remember we stayed up to 4 or 5 in the morning, and that was the plan. So we get to the cabin and we get in the jacuzzi. Now we start drinking, right? Kurt's a little tipsy. Everybody's tipsy. We go in the jacuzzi. Now, there's about 4 or 5 cameras. You know how many cameras, but you know how many producers are around. I mean, there's a lot of people around. So we're in the jacuzzi, and me and Bambi over there or whatever, and then, we start kissing. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, tonight's the night. Like, I'm getting ready tonight's the night, for me. I'm thinking about me, you know what I'm saying? So the 2 girls are over there with Kurt. And Kurt's like really, I'm looking over Kurt like, damn, like to myself, I'm thinking, wow, he's really taking this to a whole different level. And I was like, man, this is gonna be a crazy scene because this is gonna really cause a little bit of problems right here. I know it is because it would with anybody. And next thing you know, they said, come on, let's go up to the room. So everybody's kissing in the jacuzzi. We go up to the room. So me and Bambi go in my room, and she's like, I'm getting ready to leave now. I'm like, what? I said, hold up, leave where? Where you going? She's like, yeah, I'm going back home, back to Atlanta. I said, oh, okay. Like when stuff like that happens, listen, with me, it's always been no means no. Like, to me, Dr. Heavenly, if a woman doesn't want to, then automatically it's a no for me anyways. I'm kind of spoiled to where it's like, if you don't want to, then I'm kind of offended. Not that I'm conceited or anything, but so when she said that, I didn't take it nothing. I was a little frustrated, of course. Men get frustrated. You know what I'm saying, when that happens. But then they said, well, Benzino, you can't go, because I was ready to go home. I'm like, well, then Kurt's in there with the 2 girls. I'm going home. They said, nope, you got to stay for tomorrow morning's scene. So they was letting Bambi out, but they wanted us to go inside the bedroom with Kurt, Paula, and Mary Jane. So we get in there, and people's just, and there's the cameraman, there's one on the bed, there's one standing above, there's one over here, and everybody's like real quiet. You could just hear like a pin drop, super quiet. So I go up, Bambi just goes in there and she goes, and just runs out. She runs out. I stood in there and was like, wow. I mean, it was, it was like a little mini poem going on in there. And I just was like, damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Here, I'm thinking like, damn, I'm single and I can't get nothing. He's married. He got two in here with him. I just was, man, I went in bedroom, man, grabbed my pillow and just went to bed. And then the next morning, me and Kurt did our scene and that was the end of it. And I just remember, I felt bad because then I thought that the Kurt part was kind of like, this was all set up, but Rashida was really hurt by it. And, I didn't feel good about it. You know
So wait a minute. Now, I ain't seen this scene now, but I heard about it.
You got to go back and see
on
it.
TV, the girls got butt boogie ass naked.
Kurt was in the bed and they was both butt booty naked.
On TV.
Now, believe me, let me tell you something. They cut a lot. Whatever they showed, I know there's more footage out there that's really showing, like, you know what I'm saying? We used to call Kurt the pull-out assassin, but you know what I'm saying? But Kurt was like, listen, nothing happened. It was, and that's the story. That's my guy. And I believe him. I'm just telling you what I seen. I just was like, wow. I was like, that's my dude. You know what I'm saying? The fist pump. And then I was more mad, like, yeah, man, go in the room and go grab your pillow and shut up.
Was Bambi interested in Kurt? Because that's, that was the rumor.
No. Bambi was never interested in Kurt. Okay. Bambi's girl was interested in Kurt. Okay. Mary Jane. That was one of Bambi's best friends. And Mary Jane was Mary Jane. People knew Mary Jane. And Bobby Valentino brought this other girl named Paula. And she was like some exotic dancer. And they both was on Kurt. It was a hell of a scene.
That's interesting for Love and Hip Hop. I know they go deep and they fight and all of that. But dag, okay, I'm gonna just say my opinion because I recently saw those clips and I'm like, wow, like.
I'm telling you that there's more footage.
As a wife, and she was pregnant, correct?
She was pregnant. Yes, she was. She was pregnant. But to Kurt's defense, Kurt treats that woman like a queen. I'm sorry. Like I know them very personal, and as far as a married couple, Kurt, and I understand what you guys seen on Love and Hip Hop, and maybe he took things too far, but whatever it was, they had an understanding. And the best marriages have the best understandings, regardless of what anybody thinks or says. So whatever their understanding was with Love and Hip Hop, it worked for them. They're successful. They've owned stores. They've done a bunch of stuff, and they've always done it together. It's not, you know what I'm saying? They've always done it together. So, I want to give Kirk and Rashida major props, and they're great parents to their kids. But that, that Love and Hip Hop with Kurt, and then, later on, Kurt with the baby and everything. I mean, Kurt, that was a lot. That was a lot.
I'm on reality TV, and I know that some things, happen, but it's nothing like seeing it on TV. Then seeing it on social media where people give their responses, and then going to a reunion where you have to relive that shit. Like that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is. So that shows you that whatever they got is special. Because you know it. You absolutely know it. And you're right. Because let me tell you something, even with the situation I went through with Althea, forget about the on camera. The stuff we went through off camera was just chaos. So
I'm gonna be the devil's advocate for just a second because I'm Dr. Heavily. If Rashida had a scene like that and it was some brothers, do you think the understanding would have been similar? That's just my question.
And that's, you know what? That's an amazing question. And I'm gonna tell you straight up from my heart, I don't believe Kurt would have left her. Like, if there was two guys and Rashida and she was messing with whatever, I'm sure, they would have had their, back and forth when they got home that night. But I just don't see them two ever breaking up. They've done too much. I mean, Kurt really, really blew Rashida up in music. He's been her manager from day one. They've been together forever. And that's a fair question. That's an amazing question. And I really believe that Kurt wouldn't have divorced her or let her go. I mean, depending on not even dependent. If it was the same situation, because at the end of the day, Kurt said he never had sex with them. So it's like a movie. Listen, I'm in a relationship now, and I'm doing these Tubi movies, and sometimes the Tubi movies put me in provocative scenes. This new one I have is provocative. I brought her to the set so she could be comfortable where, I had to kind of get naked. And, we're all adults. And, so I guess maybe that's the same type of thing. I don't know, Dr. Heavenly.
My little opinion, and I know it don't matter what other people think. But my husband went to the strip club and I showed my fucking ass. Okay. So, and we've been together 30 years. And I know how production push people up to do stuff, but still he's a man and he was in a situation. And my whole thing is I didn't like it, and I showed what we did was we didn't really show it on TV because Damon wouldn't let production in the room. But I showed my ass. So I had a solid relationship, but I don't understand that kind of shit. And if saying I say death do us part, but that's a lot. That's a lot to take, and I ain't taking nothing from them. I wish them the best and things like that. But that's a difficult thing to get past.
Come on, listen, Dr. Heavenly, come on. You've been on this reality show, very successful for a long time, and I'm congratulating you. If this is not reality TV, especially, not all reality TV is like that, but the type of reality TV that I've done and that you do, for some reason there's a blueprint, and the blueprint is to put the couples in
situation
provocative situations, and how you handle it is the entertainment,
right?
So we know what we're signing up for. That's why I always see, Dr. Heavenly. That's why I always thought. That's why I knew not to cheat. I knew not to have another girl. I knew not to, because of that, they always try to railroad me and try to figure out a way, but I was always one step ahead of them. I just wouldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I still suffered going through the things I've went through. I've had 2 failed relationships on, 3. Me and Bambi didn't work. Me and Carly didn't work, and me and Althea didn't work. That's 3 relationships on TV that I tried, that I genuinely put my heart, like nothing just for TV. My thing was, okay, we're on TV. This is good. Man, why not? Okay. I've never been married. Let me try it. I got engaged. I almost got engaged to Carly. I got engaged to Althea, and I've never been married. So, it was something that I tried to do, and it's very difficult.
Right. Yeah. I always tell people with new relationships, they should never go on with new. Now, if you got a foundation, and that's one of the great things about Married to Medicine. A lot of us have been married for a long time, over 20 years, over 30 years, with a great foundation. But if it's new, I'm just saying the show try to tear that shit up. And I think everybody got heart and they love, but once you start seeing them comments hurt. Them comments make you think about shit you ain't never thought about before. You know what I'm saying?
Now me, the comments I've learned to not even. I've learned to kind of. I'm a percentages guy, and I look at a lot of these blog sites. I take Shade Room, for instance, and I look at Shade Room, 29 million followers, and I say the average comments, let's say 10,000, because a lot of them are 3, 5, and some are 20. Let's say 10, 12,000. That's a very, very, very small percentage. That's a very small. When you think about the opinions, from 29 people to 5,000, that's the minority. So right. I really don't take that to heart. But at the same time, those are the people who are tuning in. Those are the people who are in their own way, whether they comment good or bad, supporting. So I've been able to look at the whole scope of social media and algorithms and the internet, and I just don't let it take it too personal anymore.
But sometimes those comments hurt, though. I'ma just go and say
I've been going through it so long, Dr. Heavenly. I swear it can't. I'll have my bad days sometimes. Yeah. Maybe I don't want to see it, but nothing like when it first. Nothing like before. Like I really let a lot of stuff roll off now.
All right, well, let's change gears. Let's talk about rap beef. What is the difference between rap beef right now and the rap beef from long ago when the Source was going on?
Once again, social media. Social media. You know, rap beef now is just really gossip beef and exposed beef. You know, people just want to say things so it can so it can make the blogs.
Person look bad, right?
Yeah, but before people would lyrically make a body of work and really go at somebody. It's totally different. The rules have changed. You know, you got guys apologizing, and you know, you got guys doing AI. You know, all this new stuff right here. Rapping was just about I got a mic, you got a mic, and let's go. Battling started in the parks in the 70s, and I'd have a mic, you'd have a mic, and we'd battle each other. That's what battling was. But yeah, rap beef now isn't the same. You know, the good thing is ain't nobody dying from rap. Well, you know, there's no major guys dying from rap beef, so that's a good thing right now. So,
I'm trying to think who you were beef with. You had a rap beef with Eminem, right? How did that start? How did that start? What was that? Because it seemed like y'all would not be even in the same. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all look like y'all would be good, right?
Again, you know, I was in hip hop, and I just felt like Eminem almost was like Caitlin Clark. I felt like he's getting a lot of attention, and he just came out, and you know, a lot of the attention could be looked upon as white privilege, and I spoke on it at the time. I owned The Source, and you know, and to this day, I mean, it's almost like 22 years, and you know, he made a song about me. Maybe about a few months back, I made a couple more songs. We're still going at it.
Wow. Yeah. So y'all doing that for attention, or y'all really got beef? Because y'all really
no, I mean, you know, I don't know him to have beef, Dr. Heavenly.
Right.
I'll be honest. I don't know this man. I've never met him. So it's not beef. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it has to be for attention in the sense that why would he even respond? Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know each other. That's
well, because it's rap beef. It's rap beef. And you know, men, egos, and this is what bravado, this is what hip hop's about. I didn't know that he was going to come at me with another song 5 months ago, but you know, I came back at him, and you know, we've garnered a lot of attention. So people are still very much invested in our, you know, battling back and forth, and I don't mind it. It's not consuming me or nothing, but I love hip hop, so this doesn't bother me.
So today, do you think Eminem's a great rapper?
I think Eminem has a great fan base, and so you know, I think he's made some. I think he's made. I'm not necessarily an Eminem fan. For instance, like, you know, if I was, let's say that me and Jay-Z was, let's say Jay-Z was Eminem. You see, I would be a fan of Jay-Z's songs, even though we're rapping. I'm just not a fan of Eminem's type of music.
So do you think he's a great rapper or no?
I think he's a great rapper for his genre of music. I think he has a lane of music that puts him great with his constituents, his fans. You know, if that's putting it in the right way. But as far as he's not top 20 in my book, of great rappers. And that's
Who's your number one rapper? I'm gonna just ask you, who your number one rapper? Who you like the best?
I mean, listen, you know, I hate to say what number one is because it's
give me your top five. Give me top five.
I don't even like doing top fives, but I'm going to give you one. I mean, I've listened to thousands of rappers over my lifetime, and you know, there's thousands of amazing rappers. Even rappers that might have had one or two songs that I loved, I still consider them amazing rappers. You know, it's just too many. I just love that young black men and women are making money from hip hop. I think it's amazing. Where would we be off of hip hop without the economics helping us? So, you know, I mean, but I love all music. I love all, you know, I love Future. I love Scarface, Tupac, Biggie. I can go on, Jay-Z, Nas. I can go on and on and on with rappers. And I don't think it's fair. I don't think there's a top five. I think that all these black men are great. Amazing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Right, in their own lane. So how do you feel about like the conspiracy theories with hip hop? Like there's a lot out there about Gunna, Kodak Black, Kanye, Gucci Mane. They saying that people are clones and our record companies are private investors and all that kind of stuff. What do you have an opinion on all of that?
Well, shit, I mean, I wish I could clone me. You know what I'm saying? If there was clones, where they at? Where do I sign up? I'd love to have another me. Then I could twice the hustle.
So do you believe in like the Illuminati and that kind of stuff, or is that real?
I believe there's a secret society, of course, because anybody, when you reach a certain tax bracket, of course, Of course. I mean, there's, if there's gangs in the street, why wouldn't there be the biggest, richest gang? So yeah, of course I believe that. If that's the name of it, Illuminati, then that's the name of it. But I believe that there's a group of elite, filthy, rich, super rich men and women that are pushing the buttons in this world. Of course.
Yeah, it's 5 families from what they say. It's 5 families that run everything. Listen, so the conspiracy series, you say that you don't believe in a lot of it, but
I mean, I would have to, it would have to be what the conspiracies were. A lot of conspiracies aren't.
industry
A
plants
lot of
and
conspiracies aren't conspiracies. A
mm-hmm,
lot of conspiracies, common sense will show you that they're true. But
mm-hmm,
stuff that I can't find common sense in, then
mm-hmm.
I don't spend too much time on trying to rack my brain about stuff like that.
I understand. Now, my next question I handle with kids' gloves because I got kids and I know
Yes.
how they can be. I already got it because my
Yes.
kids are grown. So, how when you what do you think about initially seeing rappers that came up doing songs and videos with your daughter, Koi?
Well, first, say that I love my daughter very much, right?
Yes, of
Um,
course.
Regardless of what anybody thinks or says. She's my only daughter. Okay, I have 3 boys, and I took care of 2 other boys that weren't mine birth wise. But she's the princess. She's the only girl. She was the spoiled one. She was the one that stood out more than everybody. Me and her mother, we broke up when she was around 9, 10 years old, and then I would have her every 5 months out the year. She's lived with me a couple of times. Um, you know, uh, a lot of guys. She's been around um, guys her whole life as far as growing up. I've always had a studio. I've always been into this entertainment world with the Source and everything. And she's been around stuff and been around different guys. My thing was, I feel that if you're a certain age, if you're and you was somebody that I dealt with, for a fact, just out of respect, anything that you want to do with her, you would come by me first because you knew me first. Because when you did know me, she was just a kid, in her teens. So now, because she's older and in the industry, to do songs with her and do videos with her and make songs that are provocative, I'm an old school type of dad. People have to realize that. When I had Koi, I was let's see, Coy's 27 now. I'm 58. So I was 30 years old when I had Coy around my, what I'm saying? So I'm an older guy. I'm not a young guy. So
Mhm.
I'm this old school type of father. When she was with me, the rules were a lot more strict than it was with her mother.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't too keen, especially back then. As she would grow, come with me. When she starts reaching 14, 15, and 16, I there's no. She knew for a fact to not even bring up anything about any boys or anything. I'm just a father. That's just how I was. That's how I was wired. I was very strict when it came to that. Um, I was disappointed when Buster did, a video without contacting me. Um, he's not the only one. French Montana, another one. French came. I had a compound, and I let French use my studio for barely no money at all, and let him stay there for a week and use the studio, and so we know each other very well. Um, I just, yeah, I'm just disappointed. Now, of course, if I didn't know you, like Gunna, I don't know Gunna. Gunna did a video with her, and they're all over each other. I can't. So, as a father, it's awkward to see that, and
Hmm.
I don't know what other father went through that to have them say it. But I'm just human. I'm just a human being, and so I don't. I try to tune out too much of of a lot of stuff that she does because and with still in the back, I'm supporting her. You know what I mean? I'm not putting any type of negativity on it. It's just that it's for my peace and um, for my mind. It's best that I don't see certain things.
I mean, you know, we old school. You know what I'm saying? Things were a little bit different. I'm 53. I'm in my 50s. You in your 50s. Things were different. And I know as a father, you're a protector of your daughter, no matter how, you know, how long she was with you and things like that. But was it difficult to see her date people in the industry? Like, for example, I'm talking about Krishan and Blueface. Like, you see their relationship. She dated Blueface. What are you thinking? Like, that's your daughter.
Yeah. Again, you know, you see that as me. I'm not. I can't. You know, I like to be honest in my answers. So I
Yeah.
can't say I was happy about that. You know what I'm
How do
saying?
you feel about her dating? You know,
How do I feel? I
mm-hmm.
felt uh, concerned. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good word for it. You know, concerned because you know, um, you don't want your daughter caught up with any type of drama or trouble or anything. But I didn't hear any trouble or drama from the Blueface situation. I just heard that they was dating, and I just took it from there. I mean, Coy's pretty tough. She's pretty tough exterior. She's pretty tough on the inside. Her mom, myself, you know what I'm saying? Both of us, we come from the streets of Boston. And so she's not just going to let anybody walk all over her. That's one thing I know about my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot of me inside of her, whether she wants to understand that or not. And I was concerned. Of course, I'm concerned when I see all these type of things. But there's not too much I can say and do, and especially since, most of the time, uh, people see us going at each other, which I regret, I hate. But I have my reasons on why I respond to the things that she says on her music, her interviews, and I think a person would have to go through it to really understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. This part of you feel kind of slighted that people don't recognize how your influence helped her accelerate her success. Cause
No.
like you were in the game, like I mean, nepotism is real. Like she might not have been right.
Well, listen, um, I know this. I know that since she came out the womb, I've been I've been doing big things in hip hop and accomplishing out the womb. So
Absolutely.
she's been around that her whole life. Um, so I was the one rapping, I was the one into hip hop, I was the one doing all these things, and she, I mean, she was around it just like my son's was. Like my son is a successful rapper. He's 3 years older than Coy. Ray, Chavo. They have different moms, but he's a very successful rapper.
Mhm.
He's independent. He's been doing really well. Has his own house, has his own car. He does really well. He had a deal on Universal when he was 9 years old. So this is in their DNA. I don't feel slighted once again with the internet because again, I know that the majority of people in this world pretty much are intelligent people, and I don't go by the few, um, the few people on the internet with their comments and clicks and stuff. And you know, if I think people understand and they know who Benzino is, I've been around a very long time, and I think they see Coy. I mean, that's my twin. You can't look at Coy and not see Benzino. She looks like her mom. Her mom says when she gets mad, she's Benzina. She calls her Benzina.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's my baby girl. We're not seeing eye to eye now, and but she has to understand that I'm like you said, I'm old school. I just don't do good with disrespect. Especially I don't feel like I deserve it from my kids.
Yeah.
I just don't. And then when it's always, it's not like Coy does this. Coy's never really disrespected me in person. It's
Mhm.
always saying some crazy stuff on the internet. It's just, it hurts.
So why do you think she says that she lived in a car, that kind of stuff in her music, that she sold drugs when you did that?
Listen, this is what I, when she says that, it hurts me because she's trying to paint a picture. She doesn't realize that, and even if she's not doing it on purpose, she don't realize that that's making me look and feel crazy. When I made sure, you know, and her mother can co-sign this. I made sure from the time that Coy was born, I was in the streets hustling, getting my 1-2 on in them streets. And then once the Source came in, I moved them out the projects into and we always progressed every year to a bigger house, bought a bigger house, then moved to Jersey to a mansion. I did what I had to do, Dr. Heavenly, while taking care of her older brothers that was from somebody else, while taking care of her brother from a mother, while taking care of my son. Altogether, that was 1, 2, 3, 5 kids. Okay. And, I didn't do it to get extra credit. I did it because I had it to do it, and it was my responsibility. And then when we broke up, it's not like I had a handbook. I just knew, hey, listen, every summer, every Christmas, I have to get all the toys. When school comes around, I got to buy all the clothes. When everything was on me. Mama didn't work. Everything was on me, and I took that responsibility as a man and never complained. So, when we broke up, if Coy was going through some things, I made sure that every month her mom got a check every single month to take care of them, and I was still the ones flying them into me, buying all their clothes, computers, and anything else they need. So, people will say, well, your time, and well, you can't buy. But what people got to understand, when you grow up in the hood, giving money is your love language. Hustling money is your love language. You don't have any time because you're not growing up with the picket fence and growing up with money, and you don't have a college degree. You probably didn't even graduate from high school. Like, there's a lot of things that guys go through, probably on probation, probably got a case, probably out there selling drugs just so you can, have a dress for the prom. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we go through, and, not saying that it's right, not using it as an excuse, but in my situation, I was doing pretty well. So there was a lot of money given to her mom. Now, what her mom did with that money, or how that got divided up between the family and everything, that wasn't my fault. Once we separated, and as long as I gave more than enough. I left them with a house. I did a lot. And you know what I'm saying? And then I got indicted by the feds. I took a fall. We lost everything, and I had to rebuild. Listen, you know what I'm saying? A lot of my guys I grew up with, pretty much a lot of people I love are dead, gone, murdered, finito, finished. So I'm proud of who I am and what I did for my kids. Could I have done more? Everybody could have. Could I have been could I try to spend more time? Yeah, well, if I'm not living with the mother and I'm living thousands of miles away, the only time I can get them is on vacations and when school's out, like everybody else. So, I don't understand where a lot of her anger came from. I do know that when she did come, there was always a different woman. I do know that. And that right there probably took her toll. So I can understand that, seeing me with different women and not her mother. You know what I'm saying? Then seeing me in a position where she's looking at me doing good and maybe her mother's not. So I can understand those things. But I just wish she would find it somewhere to balance that with all the great stuff I did and stop throwing me under the bus every time she gets on the internet. Because at this point, I just don't want that anymore. And you got to understand, I went through a lot in my career. So, for sure, I didn't think my daughter was going to be the one to try to, scar my name. But I'm not going to let anybody do that to me. Friend, family, stranger. If it's not truthful, if it's true, there's nothing I can say. If it's true, you won't hear me say nothing. And I'll apologize. I have no problem doing it. But if it's not true, I'm going to stick up and I'm going to defend myself. And that goes against anybody, and you have to do it because false narratives will come over the internet. If the internet never exists, social media didn't exist, then you don't have to get on the mountain and scream, hey, I'm not this type of guy. But when she puts it out there, you got to realize there's a lot of women that get on the internet who fathers wasn't there at all. Okay, so there's a whole demographic and a whole audience and maybe even a fan base that can latch on to that when she puts that out there. But that's not the case. And I'm going to defend myself if nobody else isn't.
Yeah. So what do you think? What can we do? What do you think it would take to repair that relationship? Because you obviously, I could tell you love her dearly, and it almost sounds like she's trying to rap about what you lived. I don't know her situation, but the things you live. So maybe in a sense,
I
but
don't
what would
know.
it take to repair? Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just, unfortunately, um, it just seems like it just seems like it gets worse. Uh, I don't know. I wish I had the
What
I
can you
don't
say
know.
to her right now? What would you say to her right now that could repair the relationship if you were sitting in front of her?
Um, you know that first and foremost, I love her dearly, and second, I'm super proud of what she's done for herself as far as her career, because I know that's very important to her. And then I don't got any smoke with her. I don't got no beef with her. I just want her to realize that um, I am who I am, and um, I'm not perfect. Um, I came up I came up and seen a lot of, dark. I came up in a lot of dark situations. I've seen a lot of, streetwise. I've seen a lot of bad things. I've seen a lot of, I've been through a lot of bad things in my life. I've seen a lot, I got traumas, but I've learned to deal with them. And I don't learn, and they don't run my life. They don't dictate my life. So I'm not this bad guy that she might think I think Coy sees what some of the internet thinks, and I think she thinks that that's the narrative, and I think she goes with that. And I just wish she wouldn't. And I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't. I'm tired of crying about it. I don't have too much cry in me anymore about it. Um, People don't realize what I go through mentally with this. And yeah, but I come from I'm strong and she's strong, and who knows, I just what I would like is for her just to, whatever she is thinking of me, even if it's bad, just keep it off the internet. Just keep it off the internet. That's it. And then I won't have to respond, and we won't. And then at least that part of it can be out the way. And then who knows if maybe personally we'll talk, but I don't want to be the poster boy for deadbeat dad, or dad who wasn't, or dad who doesn't like his daughter, or dad who's jealous of his daughter. I don't want to be that, because I'm not that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that. So that's it.
Do you think you could take this opportunity to just tell her you love her and that you're sorry? You know what I'm saying? I know, a lot of stuff go down
Dr.
and
Heavenly, see, see, let's say Coy's living with me and I got rules,
yeah.
and Coy doesn't like my rules and she breaks my rules. I'm a father. So I have to, I got to make sure that Coy, because I've already seen the landmines. I know where the potholes are at in life. I know what streets to go down so you don't crash. I know the type of people, I know the type of words. I know that these things. I don't have anything to be sorry about, Dr. Heaven.
Mhm, mhm.
So I'm not gonna, you know, you know, I do love Coy. Coy, I love Coy. I could say Coy. I love her. That's my only daughter. I was in the hospital when she came out. I've been there for my daughter. Um, but I don't have anything to be sorry about. You know, if anything, I would like somebody to say sorry to me. I've said sorry a lot to a lot of people. I don't have any problem with that if I was wrong. but I'm a father. And to me, that means something. And you know, I think there's a time with our generation, since when social media came, it just jumped over us. But you know, I looked up to my father, and that's just how it goes. You look up to who's before you. But since social media came, the kids followed social media, so they don't gotta really respect us or look up to us anymore. But you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. You know, like if Coy's out of order as Coy's father, and I've earned that, I'm gonna speak my mind. Now we can speak it personally, but if she wants to speak it on the internet, then we're gonna do it on the internet because I'm not gonna take disrespect. I don't take disrespect kindly. It doesn't matter from anybody. And if it's something where I feel like I have to defend myself, then I'm gonna do that. This, unfortunately, is this right here could paint a whole bad picture of something that ain't true. And I don't want that. I don't want that. Like I'm a good guy, man. I've helped a lot of people. I just don't want to keep going back and forth with my daughter. But you know, if anything, I want to say when she does her interviews, just say I don't want to talk about my dad, and then I'll say I don't want to talk about my, you know, if there's nothing nice to be said. I mean, Coy's an amazing young lady. There's no question about it. A lot of this, she did this because she wanted it. She watched Ray Ray have it for so long. She says, I'm gonna go get it. You know, because me, it's not like I really was gonna put Coy out there trying to rap the type of songs that Coy raps. So Coy said, I'm gonna go get it myself. And I respect that so much. She's such a strong individual and she's so smart and she's determined. She has so many great qualities. The only thing is that I don't like the way she disrespects me. And I just don't understand why. I don't see where I deserve it. And it gets taken out of, and it gets worse once it's over the internet because it's like, you know, nobody wants to give in, but I still feel like I'm the father. I mean, we're not, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I know this generation thinks that we're right here, but we're not. I know we all wear the same clothes. We listen to the same music. We go to the same restaurants. We might go to the same clubs. They might drink the same drinks, smoke the same weed, but we are not the same. There is a hierarchy in life that I've always came up under. The father, mother, you respect it. Even if they're wrong. So hey, that's just me.
Well, I'm gonna change the subject just a little bit. There's a lot of less favorable moments made public by parent and child relationships. So I'm asking your thoughts on some of the people like Kirk Franklin and his son 50 Cent and his son Brian McKnight and his kids. You know, what frustrates you the most? You know, about that in the court of public opinion.
I mean, watching personal family fight over the internet has to be the worst thing ever. Me and Coy fighting over the internet is the worst. That Eminem stuff ain't nothing compared to how I feel about this. I mean, I do not like it, and I don't like it for anybody. Not even for 50 cents. What I know 50's son, and I don't like it for them. You know what I'm saying? It's not good, man. Our families have been torn apart regardless. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to be the you know, like the optics for this. You know, we need to be we need to be coming together. Do you understand how much more amazing it would be if me and Coy was to come together and show love? Opposed to showing. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't like to see none of this. Romeo, Master P, it goes on and on and on. And you know, this goes on every day in the hoods. This is not, you know, of course the famous stuff you see, but this is just a microcosm of what you're seeing that's going on every single day out here with this generation and their parents. I can't imagine what the next generation after this one's going to be. I can't even imagine that.
You know, I'm going to go off script just a little bit to say that maybe she thinks some things are true that are just not. You know what I'm saying? You never know what people are thinking. Is it in any world that you all can have a conversation? Because a lot of times it's just misconception, you know? And I mean, you're a father, so is there any way you initiate that?
But I'm the adult, so I can understand that. So it has to come from it. It has to come from her. She's the younger one. She's the one that has to garner up the right emotion for this. See, I'm okay. You know, I can do whatever. I'm a grown man. It's not hard for me to do whatever is needed. It has to come from her.
But
It
you're
has to
hurting.
come.
So why can't you initiate? Reach out to her, maybe write her a letter or something, just letting her know, hey, I love you. I don't even care what's going on.
Maybe
But
when the industry stuff is over, because I believe while the industry this industry social media, while this is going on, I don't think it'll ever. This has everybody's attention. Their own. You know, these kids are focused on that and them. You know,
Mhm.
I don't. You know, again, it's just isn't Benzino and Coy. This is everybody. You know, these kids are focused on them and them. You know, the social media makes you just really worry about self validation and vanity. I mean, it's not again, it's just isn't it's not as easy. It's not. It really isn't about me initiating. It's just going to be about when God feels it's the time. And I believe, based on my intelligence, that I believe this industry stuff is gonna have to calm down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm praying for you, brother. Let's change
I
the
appreciate
subject.
it.
Now,
Yeah,
what do you think
I'm
about
praying too. I
yeah,
pray too, Dr. Heavenly. Believe it or not, I've
absolutely.
prayed for being coy a lot.
I believe you. I believe you. Now, what do you think about some podcasters from a music background using their podcast platforms for public opinion? Joe Budden. I'm just throw his name out there. Cameron Mace, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Nikki, I wouldn't put in that category because
Right,
Nikki's just such a big artist.
right.
So I don't think she's. I think when she
Trying to
goes
put
and
that
does
Joe
her,
Budden in
yeah,
there.
I don't think she's really trying to be a pop. Um, first, I want to say this before I throw any type of my opinions out there. I want to say that I'm proud of all of them. They're all black men who've had careers and they're doing well with their podcasts. I believe a lot of these podcasters make it about them, and that's
Mm,
where I believe podcasters. I believe that the perfect podcasters are for the people. You make it for the people. The content is for the people. You kind of have to be. You kind of have to be like open-minded enough for the people and the demographic that you're serving. I think a lot of these guys, the Joe Buddens, the Gillies, that they make it more about them as far as them being the character. I think
mhm,
a lot of them. I think sometimes they're in character,
mhm.
and I don't. Uh, and that might work for them, but the, the best podcasts are the ones who adjust themselves and make it who have great content, great conversations, and great uh, things to talk about, and they just about it. They don't make it about them per se. They don't. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to say it in a way that doesn't offend anybody because I'm not
Right.
necessarily trying to do that. But I just really feel like these guys make it more about them. A lot of these guys make it about them, and yeah,
And that's
I don't.
enough. That's enough. I get what you're saying, But you seem like a guy that's really hurt. You ever thought about therapy? I mean, we all like I'm old school too. We
I'm all right.
shit. I can tell you some stories. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No,
I know you
no.
laughing.
I'm okay. I'm okay. No, no. I've been through therapy. Actually, I've been on. Every time you go on one of these reality shows as a therapist, I've been on.
No, I'm talking about not for real, but I'm saying outside of TV, like really focus on
I've
yourself.
talked to therapists outside TV. I'm pretty much. My thing is this. Today nowadays, you just have to stay in your own lane. What
Yeah,
isn't for you, you shouldn't be around.
yeah.
What bothers you, you shouldn't be around. What
Hmm.
gives you anxiety, you shouldn't be around. I mean, I've been able to do that. I've matured enough to know what's my lane and what lanes I should stay out. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think a lot of times you want to be around things. People want to be around situations that they're just not emotionally built for. I've been through so much, Dr. Heavenly. I mean, I really have. To where streets to where is that? I'm in a really peaceful, good place in my life right now. So
What's
I'm
your
not. Yeah, I mean, I don't. A lot. Of course, people see the stuff and they think, but no, no, no. I'm really in a great, great space in my life now, mentally, spiritually, and physically. I'm.
what's your zodiac sign? What's your zodiac sign?
Oh, I'm a
And I
Cancer. I'm a
Oh,
Cancer.
I already know. Oh, okay. All right. I
Yeah,
got you.
sensitive. Yeah, it's hard being a Cancer.
Yeah, baby, and the men are worse.
Yeah,
Woo!
it's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard. It's
yeah,
hard.
yeah,
It's hard.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna let. Do you have any public moments that you regret?
I don't regret too much.
What about
You know what? I learned not to live with regrets. Of course, I don't like arguing with Coy on the internet, but I
Mhm,
don't live with too much regrets. I really don't. I believe that, the past is the past for a different. I believe the sun rises and sets for a reason. I believe you get a new chance every time that sun comes up. When it's dark, you have time to reflect on whatever happened and time to, repent and talk to the Lord. And then when that sun comes up, that just shows you it's time to shine, get back out there. I don't think too much about the past. I don't have, you know, our minds are like computers. There's just not enough storage in my brain cloud to be worrying about the past or thinking about the past,
mhm,
especially if it's anything with negativity attached to it. I, I believe the best way to move forward is to think forward. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying? Leave that past stuff alone. It's never coming back. Whatever you did, it's gone. If it was a mistake, as long as you're able to, my father taught me this, as long as I'm able to look myself in the mirror every day and you're happy with who you see, then everything should be all right that day.
So, Benzino, you ain't never had a moment where, like, damn, I wish I hadn't said that shit.
Um, I mean, I think there's probably been a lot of moments.
Yeah.
I think it's probably been a lot of moments, but again, I don't live with regrets. You know what I mean? Because you know, I make up for I make up. I try to right my wrongs in life. And I'm at a mature space enough to know right from wrong. There's no gray area with me anymore. There really isn't, and that's for anybody. It's just right and wrong. There's no more gray area in my life right now, and I don't try to bullshit anybody. You know what I'm saying? I keep it one thou wow, and a lot of times keeping it 100, 1,000 isn't all the way. People can't take that right now. So
Mhm.
again, I stay away from those people because I'm gonna be the voice of truth, whether we're friends or not. It could be me and you own, and it's something that I don't believe in. I'm gonna let you know about it.
Mhm.
Doesn't have to. We don't have to be around anybody. So if I don't believe something is right, I'm just not gonna just yes man anybody. So I don't live with too many regrets. I've done so much. You know what I'm saying? I'm worried about, tomorrow. I don't try I worry about 48 hours. I don't try to get in front of 48 hours. I really don't. I don't try to think too far in the future. I just try to worry about right now. I'm a hustler's hustler. I've always hustled. Since 12 years old, I was in the streets. You know what I'm saying? So I've always been a person to just whatever happened yesterday is gone. I can't bring that back. There's a lot, when you start talking regrets, so now you start talking about jumping in the time machine and going back to that spot of when it happened. If I can go back to the spot, I want to make a bunch of my guys alive again. So
I
I
know
don't,
that's,
what I'm saying? If I can't do that, then I'm not going to worry about the shit that I got wrong. I'm a human being.
that's right. That's 100. Now, do you feel like the YouTubers and the bloggers frustrate you or make it more difficult with public moments? Like, do they, I
But
mean, is their influence earned? I mean, I remember you having a little issue with Bondi Blue.
you know what? As long as you don't look at these guys, I've noticed as long as you don't log in and watch these guys, a lot of these guys are fools. As long as you
Right.
don't go in there and look at these guys, nothing that they can say can bother you. Nothing. So I don't even log in. Again, whatever's going to frustrate me or bother me, I stay away from. I really do. That's the way to do it. And I advise anybody to do the same. Yeah, of course, some of these guys can be frustrated. So what do? You just stay away from them. You don't
Which
log in. You don't give them. You
right?
don't bless them with your time. Your time is the most valuable thing you got. Don't even give it to them.
So you've responded publicly to some of them. So, right?
I have, and that's got me nowhere.
Right.
That's got me more
True.
frustrated. It's got me nowhere. So the new Benzino is don't even pay attention to him.
I know that's right. So on a different note, do you agree with Method Man or Peter Guns when it comes to getting too old on the stage to perform? Because Peter
No,
Guns
no,
say
I mean, no. Depending on who you're in front, who you're on the stage performing for?
Mhm.
If you're performing for this,
The 97 jams, right?
yeah, you know those are going to be the 27 and unders over there. There's not going to be too many people that's not even going to know your music. So, you know, but there's nothing matter with going. And listen, they might not be going for your, listen, Peter Guns and Method Man are both friends of mine. And listen, Method and Red are legends. So if I was there, I'd have been rocking to what they was doing.
Absolutely.
And there were people in the crowd rocking. It might have not been the same type of going crazy like when Sexy Red came out, but she's the new sensation for the younger kids. If Method Man when them was at a 30, 40 and over concert with say a couple of thousand people, they're gonna be going crazy, singing every word of the song. So I don't give it too much real estate, man. I don't. You just, you know, I could see how they might have been frustrated because it's a hot 97 thing. I think we're in the time where we need to start understanding that old school rappers don't have to be old school. Or older rappers don't have to be old school. Old school you kind of is synonymous with, you know, maybe like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and Sugar Hill Gang, and these are old school because those songs are old school. But there are a lot of great rappers now who are making music who are our age and our generation that we could listen to.
Absolutely.
But you got 50-year-old women listening to Sexy Red. So, you know what I'm saying? It just has to be a format for older people to where is that, you know, concerts can be for older people and younger people can have their groups. Because it's the first time that hip hop has grown where these guys in the 90s who have amazing songs, Nas, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you'd still want to go see them at a concert. You're just going to be older.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now I'm gonna bring it back to business. Is there any other industry that you're pretty much passionate about that you could see yourself investing in your time and effort in? Any
Yes.
other industry? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
What would
cooking. I love cooking. I've had a couple of restaurants, seafood restaurants. I love cooking. I'm an amazing cook, and movies. I've done a few. I got a bunch of movies on Tubi that's pretty dope, and I'm really taking acting serious. I have actually some really really great opportunities coming up. I don't want to say too much because you don't want to jinx them.
right?
But I really like acting a lot, you know. And I would love to do another reality show. I think I do reality TV pretty well. I would love to get back on reality TV.
And the last question I always ask everybody: where do you see yourself, Benzino, in 5 years? Where do you see yourself? What would you want to be doing? What you think you're gonna be doing? You know.
Okay, I definitely wanna have a couple of restaurants, Benzino's Crab Trap.
Okay.
Um,
In
I
Atlanta.
def yeah, I've opened a couple before. A lot of people have tasted my food and they've really liked it. So I want to open a couple more again. I want to be in hopefully in a Tyler Perry produced film. You know,
Okay.
I would love that.
Shout out.
And yeah,
Mhm.
and then 5 years, man, drama free. You know, hopefully by then me and Coy would have fixed it because I know a lot of people out there would love to see that. And what I'm
Mhm.
saying, I just want to see good stuff. I'm gonna be in my 60s, man, and what I'm saying, I just want to do a lot more outdoorsy stuff. I love to be outdoors. I'm still gonna be in the gym.
Mhm.
Hopefully, me and my girl get married. I mean, not even hopefully. By then, we'll be married. And
Mhm.
yeah, man, health. When you get this age, health is really the most important thing. So as long
Absolutely.
as I'm healthy, then I'm happy.
Yeah, that's it. Anything you got coming up you want to talk about? I know some of the stuff you say you didn't want to talk about, but anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I do have a documentary I've been working on with my partner, Man Robinson, called um, the '95 Source Awards, the night that changed hip hop forever, and it's about the Source Awards that night where Suge Knight had said what he said, and there was a
Mhm.
lot of tension. How Andre 3000 said what he said, and next thing you know, the South emerged. I mean, it just was a lot of backstory at that awards, and I've been working on that for the past 8 months. That'll be my first kind of executive produced documentary. I'm going to be narrating it, and I'm pretty proud of the work. I've interviewed probably close to 20 people that were there that night, and we're still working on it. We're probably in the editing phase coming up, and like I said, I'm just taking care of Lil Zeno. He's gonna be coming up for the summertime, and
How old is he
shouts
now?
my He's 8 years old now, and he's
So,
gonna be coming for the summer. He's gonna be because my girl has a son. My girl Ashley, shout out to her, and she has a son Samaj, and he comes up, and they're like this, you know. I mean, I look forward to taking him all over for the summertime because he's really excited to be with me for a couple of months, and he likes to cook too, so we're gonna be doing some cooking stuff with him. And man, I'm just living life. I'm still doing my walkthroughs around the country. I go and host a lot of events, and I'm just I'm staying in the gym, and yeah, God is good.
is there anything you want to talk about or get off your chest before we go? I mean, I'm proud of you, brother. I see all the things that you've done. I don't think that I knew all the things that you've done. I've been following you for years and years, and it's just like, wow, it's so good to sit down with somebody. And I think I met you in person before at a charity.
Yep. It was at a charity event at one of the houses. Yep, definitely. Listen, I just, and I want to say congratulations to you, Dr. Heavenly, because being a professional and being in the reality world, and you guys have done this at a high level for a long time. It's very hard, very hard. So I definitely want to congratulate you because you're really on one of the longest running shows, that we have. And I want to congratulate you.
Working on season 11 right now. Season 11.
Yeah, that's 11 years. Listen, 11 years on the same show is almost impossible. So
Right.
I really want to, give you credit for that. And, I'm saying hey, I really appreciate you having me. Shout out to Stephanie. Stephanie was working with me on the next 15, and I appreciate her. And hey, listen, anytime you want me to come back, I'm here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's been a great interview. I appreciate you.
Appreciate
And
you.
everything you want in this life, all you got to do is manifest it and pray for it, and it'll happen for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good.
Let's manifest abundance.
Absolutely, and I'll be praying for you, my brother.
Thank
Okay.
you very much. Yeah, God bless you.
You too.
Take care. All right.
Hey guys, I hope y'all enjoyed that interview there. I'm gonna go on my Patreon at a later time. Make sure y'all join my Patreon, and I'm gonna break it down because I really like Benzino. You know what I mean? And I understand the rap and all of that. I'm really not into all of that. However, you could just see a man who thinks like a man in our generation. We just different. Men feel like I'm the father. I'm not going to go down on my word. So I get everything he's saying. Hopefully y'all do too. But I'm saying it's good in everybody. I'm not here to judge anybody. And I do get in my character when I do different things, with Carlos and stuff like that. But this right here, it really touched my heart because I know how much he loves his child. And I know how much, this can be, bothersome and stuff like that. So we're going to hope and pray. But I'm going to break this down more on my Patreon. Make sure y'all join patreon.com, and then we'll ask the questions. We'll get it going. And I'm going to try to actually bring y'all some more artists and some more people y'all may be interested in. Leave your questions and comments in the chat. Make sure you do that. And if you have any questions, let me know, and we'll answer it in the Patreon, okay? All right, talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good evening, and I'll see y'all later. Bye. Let me see if I can get my thing going. Here we go.